What's going on, fellas? We're back. Another trade recap for today. We ended up taking two trades. We got brutally fucking break even on the first one. I'm going to show you it. It's really sad. But, we bounced back. Ended up making $369.32 on the day. We hit that second trade, so pretty fire. You guys know the drill by now. I'm going to go through everything that I went through, right? Knowledge, whatever, what I was thinking, all of that stuff to get me to the point of entering this trade. So let's go ahead and get rolling through the recap real quick. Okay, so coming into the morning, coming onto the charts, right? We're looking here in the 4 hour. No gaps that we are delivering off of in the 4 hour, right? So as you can see, we didn't have any sort of gap in here, right? We actually ended up inversing this one. Not delivering off of anything. We're delivering off this gap down here. A little too far away, right? We've created some more. But, we inversed this gap right here. Had a little retest of that. That's giving us, confirmation number one. Number two, right? There's this hourly fair value gap right here. Boom. That we are delivering off of. So that right there gives me confluence. Okay, we're probably going to continue higher. Let's check what our draws on liquidity higher are, right? So we do have, at that point, this high right here that we had not swept out yet at 9 in the morning. We had not swept out this high yet. However, I did think we were going to push a little bit higher than that. This would be a nice point of reversal because this is a high inside of a fair value gap. However, right, we have this small 4 hour gap right here. As you can see, so that was my draw on liquidity. That's what I thought price wanted to go up, grab, and then probably reverse back down off of that. And it looks like that's probably what's going to happen, right? So hopping down into lower time frames early in the morning. Let's go ahead and take a peek here. Boop. Okay, so right away in the morning, we ended up kind of manipulating lower into this 5-minute gap. This is like slightly AMD setup here. As you can see, we accumulated a little bit in the 5-minute, manipulated lower, took out all of these lows, and then also tapped into this unmitigated 5-minute gap. Your boy ended up taking a 30-second inversion off of this, and I believe the entry was around here, like this, possibly. Had my lows at the body right here. We ended up, I was targeting around a 3-to-1, which is this right here. I ended up getting break evened. Actually, no, I was targeting up here. So my entry must have been like here. Anyways, I bet you it was right here. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we ended up getting break even. I went, okay, never mind. Sorry, guys. It was like this right here. And then I had my stops below this low. And I was targeting like a 3-to-1. So my stop was probably like, anyways. So this was like the trade we were targeting essentially, right? And as you can see, this little wick right here. So this candle shot up, right? We took out this high right here. So then at that point, okay, break even. There's no other high, right? We could just reverse off of nothing. However, I did think we were going to continue higher. So I went break even. We got stopped out by literally a single point, or stopped break even by a single point before then shooting back to the upside. So pretty upsetting. Unfortunate that did happen. However, it's okay, right? Obviously, we're going to bounce back. So that was the first trade we took. Then, just waited for stuff to kind of happen. What ended up happening? Well, we ended up tapping into this gap right here, this 5-minute gap. As you can see, boom, came back down in this 5-minute. Then we just ended up taking the 1-minute inversion off of this right here, just like that. I think we entered on this and then just targeted this up here. Had stops. Okay, bro. I had my stop at the bottom of this gap right here. We targeted a 2-to-1, risked only around $190, and made around $400. But yeah, that was the trade. This hit in like 30 seconds, I think. But that was a fire trade. I just targeted this 4-hour gap right here. Trade up to that 4-hour gap. Obviously, you see we touched that, and now it looks like we're probably reversing back down off of that. Who knows? But yeah, that's what I targeted right there. Risked a little bit less just because, I didn't exactly know if that was going to happen. And also, we had lost a trade. I was a little shaken up by that break even. Low-key pissed me off. NGL, ICL, OMM. So I, de-risked a little bit just in case my psychology wasn't there, just in case there was something that I wasn't seeing. But we also ended up having this SMT with ES, crazy SMT, as you can see right here, 955, and these lows here at 930, swept those out. And at that point, NASDAQ's all the way up here. Those 930 lows are down here, right? So probably could have, done full risk if I wanted to. However, I was being a good boy. Psychology was not exactly in check, but still a good trade, so that's why I took it. Anyways, though, super simple. Unfortunately, we got break even on that first trade because that was extremely beautiful. Just got kind of a bad entry spot, and then we got effed after we got break even. But that was a trade recap for today. Super simple, super easy, super quick. The thing I did want to talk about, we're gonna drop some sauce. What I'm gonna do is every sorry, I was hurting my eyes. Every trade recap, I'm gonna drop a little sauce for you guys. Okay, so I had an argument in my Discord today, talking about bring you in. I had an argument in my Discord talking about daily bias, and it was a couple people, chatting, like saying, hey, daily bias is super important, you need daily bias, and other people saying, no, daily bias is not important at all, right? And I decided to butt in on the conversation. They sent some sort of stat that was like, traders are more profitable when they don't have daily bias. And honestly, that's true, right? So you're thinking about daily bias. If you think about daily bias, you're trying to predict the next daily candle of something. All right, so let's use today for instance. If we're going to deliver off that 4-hour gap, the rest of the day is probably going to be bearish, right? Therefore, probably putting our daily candle bearish. However, we took longs today, and we were looking for longs all morning, right? So if your daily bias is bearish, if you're trying to predict that next daily candle, you're thinking, oh, we're bearish. You don't get any setups because we were bullish up to that draw on liquidity. So there's where draw on liquidity comes into play, right? Draw on liquidity is 1,000 times more important than daily bias, because if you're thinking about draw on liquidity, you're thinking about, where's this next candle going to go towards, right? Where am I going to push and draw towards before going in whichever direction we need to go to, right? So if you think about predicting the next hourly candle, maybe the next 2-hour candle, then that is going to be much more beneficial for you, right? And even honestly 15-minute, because that's what you're trying to trade off of. You're trading off of probably a 15-minute trade, right? None of my trades are longer than 15 minutes usually, unless we just consolidate for hours. But most of the time you're going to be trading off of a 15-minute, you know what I'm saying? So when you think about daily bias, maybe think about hourly bias. Where are we going towards in the next hour? Yes, our next daily candle could be bearish, but in the next hour, we might be bullish up to a fair value gap and then reverse off that, right? And you're going to want to take a trade up to that fair value gap. So think about draw on liquidity much more than your daily bias. I don't even look at the daily time frame because it'll mess you up, right? Because then you're thinking, oh, but it's not true, right? So think about where that next hourly candle is going to go. Take an entry towards that. And a lot of people too, there's another thing. If you have a draw on liquidity, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to wait till my draw on liquidity gets hit and then hopefully see some sort of reversal off that. If you're knowing that that draw on liquidity is going to get hit, why would you not take a trade to that draw on liquidity? Right? And so that's something that I didn't necessarily understand for a long time trading is daily bias versus draw on liquidity, right? Draw on liquidity is so much more important. And I would wait. I'd be like, okay, I wait for this to get hit. Then we'll see some sort of reaction off of that. Well, if you know that that's going to get hit, why not find an entry up to that point in the first place, right? So think about it in that sense. All right, think about your draws on liquidity. But that's the free sauce that I'm going to give you guys today. That's going to be it for this trade recap. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow all my things, right? We are going to be doing a special little giveaway when the Discord hits 500 members. I believe we're around like 350 right now. So when that hits 500 members, we're going to do a nice little giveaway for you guys. Stay tuned on what that is. Trust me, you're going to want to know what it is and you're going to want it. So stay tuned on that. just drop a like for your boy, subscribe, do all that stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next one. If I take a trade tomorrow, you'll see you tomorrow. If I don't take a trade tomorrow, you won't see me tomorrow. All right, that being said, peace out, cousins.